Alright, hi everybody, my name is Chris. Hello. Anyway, I'll start by asking, has anybody played the past couple of years football on a team with a coach and everything? Yeah? So, when you were doing this, did they ever teach you about concussions or any training? No. Yeah, when I was playing when I was in middle school, they didn't do that either. So, kind of my background is I played football for 5 years before I went to high school, but I was never taught anything. I didn't know what a concussion was. Anyway, going into my freshman year, had a great first freshman football season, all was well, no injuries. I decided to play track in the off season, indoor and outdoor, to keep in shape and be ready for the season. Stay competitive, get to race, but get ready for football. I wasn't so fast, so I did high jumping. And have you guys watched high jumping, or you know how it looks kind of? There's those two huge metal bars holding up the bar that you have to jump over. Yeah, well, I was jumping and I smacked my head on one of those. It's kind of a freak incident and it's embarrassing, but it hurt my head a lot, and I realized there was something wrong. I didn't know what a concussion was. But I went to the trainer. I was having lightheadedness, kind of dizziness, kind of a nausea, headache, instant headache. And she told me after taking my impact test that I had a concussion. My first reaction was, okay, it's not football season. I'm not really worried. I'll take a couple weeks off like the doctor said, recover, rest, and get ready to go for football. So that's what I did. By early July, end of June, I was totally fine, no symptoms, and I was getting ready for football the next year. Early on in my sophomore year, the captain of our team, who was one position or one spot higher on the depth chart, the starting tight end, got mono. He got sick, so they needed a tight end, and I got the job. This was a huge deal for me. To be a sophomore starting was awesome, and I was just really excited to be there. So by 4 or 5 games in, I was playing against New High School in the fourth quarter, lowered my head, helmet to helmet, shot, and right away I knew there was something wrong. This one was much worse than the time before. I felt like I blacked out for a second. I was dizzy, I couldn't really walk straight. Everything was kind of foggy, but light seemed really bright. I'd go to the huddle, come back, wouldn't really remember the play they called. I'd have to ask somebody last second. It was strange and severe, and it was, kind of scary. I went back to the locker room, though, after the game, and I made a quick decision that I was going to play with it. I had worked really hard to get to the spot that I was at, and I was one of like 1 or 2 sophomores actually getting to play, and I didn't want anybody to know, and I didn't want to let anybody down, so I kept playing. Played the next 5 games, okay, but during this entire period, even though I was able to play, I was having a lot of problems off the field. I get headaches constantly. I couldn't sleep. My grades dropped severely. I was getting C's. I had never really gotten C's before. There were, obvious issues with me, and I said, okay, it's all worth it. I want to keep playing. I decided going into my last game that as soon as the game was over, I was going to tell my mom that I was concussed. I'd get checked out. I'd rest. I'd be fine. Anyway, day before the last game, and what we do for fun before practice is we'd wrestle in the locker room. So the day before the last game, the older guys had 2 sophomores matching up. It was me and a friend of mine. We were just wrestling for fun. Now the floors in our locker room are not padded. It's this material. So I was wrestling this kid on a tile floor, and I don't remember any of this, by the way. Got slammed down on my head, head and shoulder. My eyes rolled in the back of my head, blacked out for a minute, or unconscious for a minute. I don't remember any of this. From what my friends have told me, they took me to my locker where I was semi-conscious, sweating, didn't know what day it was, didn't know if we were playing tomorrow, really had no idea what was going on, and they got really worried and brought me to the trainer. First I remember the trainer's office was seeing a teammate of mine across the room and me mouthing to him what happened, because I had no idea. As soon as the trainer came in, even though I didn't know what happened, I tried to lie to her and convince that I was fine, that I wasn't hurt, because my mentality was, I don't know what happened to me, but I still want to play tomorrow. Biggest game of the year. She didn't buy it. She called my mom, and my mom took me to the hospital. On the way there, I told her that I had already been playing with a concussion, and when we got there, they did a CAT scan checking for bleeding in my brain. Luckily, I was okay. I had 2 concussions. I had second impact syndrome, which means if you get one concussion and then you get another hard hit to the head with that concussion, that's second impact syndrome. Anyway, I left with just a severe concussion and separated shoulder from the incident. Took 2 weeks off from school, but within a month I was lifting again and working out. Went pretty much the whole year I was fine. No symptoms, nothing lingering. Second to last game, my junior year, semifinals of the state playoffs for football. I was playing defense, took a hit from I don't even know who, another concussion, same feeling, lightheaded, headache, didn't seem too severe, but it was definitely a concussion. I was already playing with a broken rib, so on painkillers for the broken rib, figured alright, I'm already in pain anyway, it's 4 or 5 more days left, let's just finish this out, and that's what I did. Finished out the season, took 2 weeks off, recovered, rested, got back to working out, no issues. Senior year, 2 weeks before the end of the season, practice, playing defensive end, pulling tackle, slammed me in the head.